Hello everyone, Manithral here, and welcome to a little bit of a review on some stuff that recently came out on the update showcase. Now if you're not sure what the October update showcase was, Jagus basically went through and they talked about and showed some different things about projects that are upcoming. I kind of want to give my review and my thoughts on it and see, of course, where you guys stand with it, what you guys think about it, and just to go from there. Now, this guy here, he thinks he's cool, so he's trying to get every single one in the room constantly, but I really don't care about that, and it's not really helping him. But anyway, so there was a lot they actually covered. And a lot of it was actually, oh my god, there's another person at the same spot now. So yeah, there was a lot they actually covered. And it's all, kind of pretty good. A lot of the updates that I've seen and looked at, they were all, pretty good to see. There wasn't too many that were bad. There's one thing that was kind of like a little rough, and that was the smithing rework portion. While it was good, the fine-tuning it needed was something kind of simple, and that was just the fact that it took a long time to do anything. Which, I mean, I understand they want to try to make it, and I know they said it was a placeholder, so I digress, but the time frames did seem a little steep, and they did say that, so it's not something to really stress out about, as far as we're concerned. The only thing, like, the deep sea, like, I'll go over the different updates that they talked about. I mean, they talked about Pieces of Hate. From what they showed, it looked really good. It was introducing a new little mini game. So that looked really good. There was nothing to really be disappointed there. And all the mini game looked to be is that the zombies would be invading different areas of the Mostly Harmless, and from there, you just went and you fought and reduced the amount of danger. That's about all that was. But the biggest ones was the deep sea fishing, which looked really, really good. The only thing I had a little bit of an issue with it was they were talking about having it locked behind the fishing guild, which normally that would be fine, but they have one plot in there that is designed around players, maybe even low-level players, well, low fishing level players, who don't quite have certain things yet. Ooh, an abyssal whip. And, it's just like, well, because the one fishing spot is, any fish can be there. Of course, the harder the fish it is to catch, the less likely you are to find one, and let alone catch one. So it's a fishing plot that you could potentially catch, like, let's say, shark and rocktail at the same spot. There's also going to be a new, and I think because of that, they should have it so that, it should be easier to access for people of all fishing levels, and not just people who have already reached a fishing guild, because, well, fishing guild requirement and then you have the shark requirement is very close together, actually. So allowing people to actually catch sharks before their level would be more beneficial if they could do it before they get to the fishing guild. But that is my opinion there. But that's the only thing there. And that update looked immaculate. If you guys do want to check out the October showcase, please do. There's a lot of stuff in there to actually be looked at. Up next, I want to talk about mostly the smithing and mining rework is what I really, really, really wanted to talk about to you guys. Because there's a lot to actually think about and a lot to discuss, and they have a lot of stuff they have to go over before it's actually fully compiled and finished. And it's mostly due to the fact of player feedback. And if it wasn't for the fact of player feedback, the update would actually be out by now. So it goes to show that they are trying to do exactly what we want them to do. So now it can't be exactly the way we want it, because then everybody would have 99 smithing and mining within a couple hours, which is not reasonable. But the mining rework part looks pretty well finished. What it is you go to mine on a certain plot, you mine, the rock doesn't necessarily disappear right away, and you have a progression bar. And every so often you get XP, and every so often you get some ore. Now I believe the ore you only get once the progression bar fully hits, and the XP you get kind of randomly. Ooh. A loot. Oh wow, that's a big wow. 210 battle stats. I think I'll take that. So yeah, it kind of builds up over time, and then you get your ore, but it's not overpowered, it's not underpowered. The only thing that they are currently experimenting with, and see if they can't balance it appropriately with XP versus, you know, the mining and smithing, is having ores stackable. So it's very possible we could be seeing stackable ores in the future, but it's also possible we won't. It's just the point of, you know, if they can balance it the way that it actually makes sense and is actually kind of good. So there's quite a few things they have to balance with that. And they have to make sure it's appropriate for the game and it fits in with the skills. Otherwise, it's just, you know, garbage. But the smithing part is actually the one that kind of, it needs its work, but at the same time it looks really, really good. Now they didn't say too much on what, like, okay, whenever they were mining or smithing something, they initially made the first item, and they were talking about how the drop tables need reworked and all this and that and blah blah blah. And here's my thought on that. If they're going to do it like they're saying, which is that you mine the base item, and then as time goes on, you can upgrade that item. So it can be like, the example they used was a rune sword +1, +2, +3, until they get to the final one, which you can either sell on the GE, you know, sell, or you can actually take it and kind of disassemble it, if you will, for more smithing XP. I mean, you turn it in or deconstruct it. I'm not sure which they'll do yet, because they're not entirely sure yet either. But that part actually sounds really good. And they're saying about potentially having to do a, you know, drop overhaul. You know, completely change up the drops. And my thought on it is that, why? Because if they're going to have it so that, you know, your guy, you go in and you fight all these things, well, and you kill, like, let's say I'm killing all these, and perfect example, I get that rune dagger. Well, this rune dagger would be the base form, and you need, you know, X amount of bars to upgrade it to +1 dagger. So it's like, you know, they could actually leave the current drop table alone, and it would just be the fact that the base form of these weapons would already be completed. Now, I think they could actually take this a step further. Well, I shouldn't say a step further, because they didn't really specify if, let's say, a +1 dagger is going to be stronger in some fashion than a basically, you know, a basic dagger like this one. So will it be stronger, or will it be the same, or will it even look different? There's just a lot of different questions for that one. I think these are ones that they don't have quite answered yet. That's why they didn't bring that part up. But I don't know about you guys, but that's something that's actually kind of a big deal to me. To know that if my item is going to work differently or not, if it's going to be stronger or not. Because if it's going to be stronger, that's fantastic news. I mean, that'll make you want to make the upgraded versions. And these base versions, you know, while nice, they would actually assist in taking things a little bit step further. But overall, it wouldn't be too much of a big deal to actually leave them in. Now, what would that mean for, you know, the bigger ticket items? Such as, well, for instance, what I'm using right now, the Abyssal Whip and Dragon Armor. Would there be a way to make them a plus version? Now, I know some people would be thinking, well, you don't need to make a plus version because pretty soon they'll be making, well, with that rework comes the new tiers of armor and weapons, which is true, but at the same time, there's still going to be people who want to use that Abyssal Whip. There's still going to be people who want to use the Dragon Armor. So I'm starting to wonder, you know, is this +1, +2, and then the final form I think is like a decorated. Are they going to be usable? And if they are going to be usable, are they going to be stronger? Are they going to have anything special about them? You know, what are all these qualifications that's going to be going on with them? Or is it just simply the fact that they're further along in the stage and they just yield more XP? I mean, if they just yield more XP, that's fine and all. It's not really a big deal. Yeah, there's a few other updates. They talked about Solak and stuff like that, but I just felt like these updates were actually the biggest ones to really talk about. They didn't really talk about the skilling offhands. They did talk about the clue scroll overhaul, which I am very excited for. There's going to be a new level or new tier of clue scrolls. It's not just going to be easy through elite. There's also going to be a master yet, and they're also going to be having different things being added to them after that, like things we're not used to. They're given more of a use as the meerkats. They're going to be having it so you can have at least they're going to have at least a small cap of how many different scroll boxes you can carry at once, which is going to be at most currently 5 of each. However, the caskets you get from completing a scroll, there's not going to be a cap on them. So that's going to lead to some future videos for the channel. As you guessed it, I will be doing, you know, openings for different clue scrolls. Once I get, you know, so many of each done, I will start doing openings where I think I want to do a minimum of 20 to 50 openings. It really depends on what you guys think, if I should go for more or less, but I think I want to be aiming for the range of 50. If you think there should be less, just please let me know, and I'll adjust accordingly, because that's not too much of a big deal. We could also just run a test run too, wait until I actually have 50 clues done, see how it looks, see how you guys like it. So there is that. But I'm very excited because I always love doing clue scrolls. I have been very lacking in doing clue scrolls lately. I really can't explain why, other than I just haven't been doing them. Which is actually kind of shocking, because I used to be one of those people who would be, oh, I got a clue scroll in the middle of a Slayer assignment, let's go do it right now, and then hopefully I'll get a new one. You know, I was always one of those people. So clues are going to be a bigger deal, and the Master Clue, I'm very curious to see what that's going to be like. They're also incorporating it that you can get clue scrolls from different skilling activities outside of the prospect perk, I believe it is. So no longer will it require you to, you know, just have prosper or prospect. You'll also be able to get it while doing stuff like fishing and mining. And I believe there's a few other skills they had mentioned as well, but that's just the ones that I can think of right offhand. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. I do want to say, please check out these video. It is a longer video that they have. It is, I think, about 2 hours long. But I can guarantee you every minute watched of it is well worth it. You get to see a lot of screenshots, a lot of images that make it very much worth it. So that'll actually do it for today's video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, later guys.